Welcome and good afternoon. My name is Kamish Orr, and today it's time to do a little recap of 2024. I mean, a lot of people are doing that this time of year, and I figured I would do the same. Actually, the plan is I'm going to talk about the projects I did in 2024 on this channel. Then I'm going to give you a little bit of behind the scenes analytics of the channel and show you what my top 10 videos of 2024 were, and as well as some of my viewership numbers and that kind of thing. Just if you're curious about what a small uh, channel like this, how many views they get and that kind of thing, we're going to go over that if you're curious about that. And then I'm also, of course, going to talk about 2025 and the plans for 2025. And so that's the plan with this video. Hopefully you find some of it interesting. Love to hear your comments down below. So a little bit of recap. I actually did. I had three different projects. Well, technically three, more like two. I had a one project finish, like it must have finished right after the new year of 2024. So let's take a look at those first. Over on baseballmaelstrom.com, where you can follow the action on everything I have going on, all of my projects. I actually completed 151 games of tabletop baseball in 2024. 151 games of tabletop baseball, give or take. I'm pretty sure that's an accurate number. It may have been 150 because I think I may have. I'm going based on the number of posts because I do a little post game write up on every game that I complete, and that's how many write ups I've done. But I think there may have been one write up in there that wasn't actually a game, but was just a preview of what was going to happen. So it may have only been 150. Regardless, the 2024 saw the very last game of my History Maker Baseball tournament using the all-time franchise great sets. And so that tournament, and we'll just take a quick look at that here, had 15, or excuse me, 16 American League, 16 National League teams. It had all of the franchises, plus I did a Japanese Baseball League franchise, the Yomiuri Giants, and I did a Negro League franchise, which was the Homestead Grays, I believe. Yes, Homestead. And so I did a big bracket. Was it, yeah, double elimination? Or was it? No, it was triple elimination. Excuse me. It was triple elimination. A triple elimination, uh, a triple elimination tournament, I believe. Actually, no, I only did double. Sorry. I intended to do triple, but I decided to move it down to a double elimination. And so we did a double elimination tournament with all 16 American League, 16 National League franchise teams. Best of the franchise. So all time franchise great set from History Maker Baseball. And the last game of that tournament took place in 2024. In fact, it was the only game, was the finale between the Seattle Mariners franchise and the St. Louis Cardinals franchise. Believe it or not, Seattle pretty much swept through this thing. Seattle swept through this thing. Surprised me. I didn't expect them to do as well as they did, but they did. But they did, and so pretty crazy. And again, you can come out here to the Baseball Maelstrom website, click on the HMB tournament page. You can access to the stats. If you wanted to see the stats, yeah, Seattle was 7-0 in the tournament. You can get the tournament bracket and all that fun stuff is at your fingertips. And so that was one project I have going on. But then the two major projects I had going on that year were my 1930s Best of the Decades tournament using season ticket baseball. That started in February and ran through October of 2024, so most of 2024. And that saw the 1931 Philadelphia Athletics take the championship in the best of the 30s tournament. And again, you can have access to see the, if you go to 1930s tournament page, you'll see the bracket and you'll see the stats. You can click on this to see the stats for that tournament. It's a double elimination series tournament, so most rounds were best of 5 until the finals. Until the finals, those were best of 7. So the World Series was best of 7, of course. And so best of 5 up until that point, and double series elimination means if you lost one series, you would have another chance to fight your way up through the losers bracket. But if you lose 2 series, you were out. There was a play-in round in the American and National League. Of course, this uses the top 5 American League, top 5 National League teams in the 1930s. And that's how I did that one. Now, subsequently, I have started also in 2024 the Best of the Decades 1990s tournament. And that is a few games in as well. We have had the 2 teams be eliminated. 1994 White Sox, 1990 Mets have both been eliminated. But we're in the first real round of the tournament for the Best of the 90s using season ticket baseball. And judging by how the other one went, I'm sure this one is going to get us through mid-year, if you will, before this one's wrapped up. And then I'll be doing another decade, Best of the Decades tournament after that. That's kind of my plan. But I'm giving you a little preview of 2025, aren't I? In any event, the Best of the 90s, or excuse me, Best of the 30s wrapped up. The Best of the 90s started. And then, of course, my other project was my Payoff Pitch League. And that is the Pops League, as I call it. This is season 2. So season 2 of the Pops League started in March and has run through the end of the year. We are 16 to 17 games into that season. It's a third of a baseball season, so 54 games. And this league has 3 American League and 3 National League Hall of Fame teams, and 1 team made up of great players not in the Hall of Fame for whatever reason. And so it's a fictionalized team names with logos and all of that fun stuff. And so we are 16, 17 games into that 54 game season. So that's where we're at with that. So those 3 projects took place. As I said, I had played, give or take, a game, about 150 games, and which is a lot of games for 2024. So let's take a look, take a look at some stats from my channel. If you're curious, I actually started the channel in 2023, I believe. Let's say lifetime. Yeah, lifetime was my first. December of 23 was when my first video went up, I believe. Now that doesn't seem right. 2022. So 2022 is when my first videos went up, it looks like. So May of 22 is when the channel began, but we're looking at just 2024 stats right now. And I post about, I started posting about twice a week. I've been posting about once a week lately. And so in the last year, my channel has grown by 239 subscribers, which is 30% more than 2023, which is pretty good. I have 564 current subscribers. That was 2.42 thousand watch hours in 2024 and 27,500 or so views in 2024. So that's kind of a breakdown, the general breakdown of the overview. But here's the top 10 videos. I'm going to scroll down to 10 here so you don't see the top one yet. My 10th most watched video with 862 views was a Payoff Pitch review based on my must-haves. A very popular video. Next up, number 9 was one that was a little bit controversial, apparently. I didn't think so when I was filming it. The New York Yankees lost the 2024 World Series, where I made the argument that despite the fact that, yes, the Dodgers, obviously the Dodgers won the series, but that really it came down to the Yankees' miscues that blew the World Series for them. And I attribute the Yankees' miscues to actually losing the World Series for them. And apparently, a lot of people, a lot of Dodgers fans didn't like my take on the video. Out of nowhere, I mean, it got hardly any views at first, and then out of nowhere, it got over 1,000 views, and most of those were Dodgers fans. It seemed to be who didn't like my take on that. So, I sometimes post other things other than tabletop baseball, just my views on things, and that was one of those. So that was my 9th most watched video in 2024. Number 8 was my top 9 must-haves for tabletop baseball. That was my 2024 update. Posted that in April of this year, and it was like the top 9 things I look for in a tabletop baseball game. Updating a prior video that I had, which was my top 8, I believe, and that had over 1,000 views as well. Number 7 was History Maker Baseball review after 36 games. So I started playing History Maker Baseball, which is a very different game. And that video actually got posted at the end of 2023, but it continues to get a lot of views because I think people are interested in watching a little bit about History Maker Baseball. And so that one came at 1159. Number 6 was, again, another non-tabletop baseball, not specifically, and that was my Baseball Batting Stats 101, where I kind of went over the basic batting stats and kind of explained what those were and some of the nuances of those. That came in at number 6 for the year. All of those, again, are within a few hundred views of each other. Number 5 was Season Ticket Baseball review based on my must-haves, much like my Payoff Pitch review. And that video got 1,280 views in 2024. Those tend to be pretty popular. Number 4, Payoff Pitch Baseball review and initial impressions. That one actually got posted in September 2022 when I first started playing Payoff Pitch. But again, I think people are looking for reviews and that kind of thing on baseball games, and so they find that video, and it was my 4th most viewed video in 2024, even though it came out in 2022. Number 3 was my Season Ticket Baseball first impressions. That one had 1,300 views, and that one was, again, very popular as I gave my impressions on first playing that game. Number 2 was my top 8 must-haves. That was the older video that I updated, actually. That one I posted in January 2023, but that one gained 1,500 views in 2024. Very popular. So what was my number 1 most popular video? It had nothing to do with tabletop baseball, oddly enough. But it did have something to do with a player that's very popular, and that's the primary reason, I'm sure, that it gained so many views, and that is Ohtani and a look at top MLB performances. That was September 2024, just a few months ago. And that video got 3,294 views. And in that video, you remember that game that Ohtani had that is just crazy? He had so many RBI and so many hits, and it was just nuts. He had a couple home runs. Just nuts. The game was just nuts. Well, I did a little comparison of that game compared to other games in Major League Baseball history. And apparently the Dodgers fans who hated my take on the World Series, I don't know how many of them watched this video where I showered my praises upon Ohtani for having, arguably, and I make the argument that it was the best performance in Major League Baseball history. Best offensive performance, single game performance. And so, that was my top viewed video in 2024. Now I do a lot of videos. I do a few videos where I do playthroughs of games as I'm playing them from my projects. And I also do recap videos where I recap games that I played that week. I play about, on weeks that I'm playing, I play about 4 games a week. That's kind of my goal, is 4 games a week. and I switch back and forth between the projects that I play. So I play 1 week of one project, then the next week of the other project, and so on. Now in 2024, I was in between a couple projects, and that's why I didn't play over 200 games like I normally would. I only played 150. But those videos don't tend to get the viewership that the general interest videos get, I will say. And again, that makes sense because tabletop baseball is a very, very niche interest, and so there aren't a ton of people that are interested or I shouldn't say there aren't as many people interested in watching playthroughs and that kind of thing as there are people who are interested in just general baseball stuff, which is why those videos got more views overall than my playthroughs or recaps and all of that thing. But just thought you'd find that interesting to see what my top 10 videos were. By the way, if you're looking at this overview, these big spikes, this is the Ohtani video right here. That's where this big spike came from, where I had 970 views on that day. And then this second spike is the Yankees lost the 2024 World Series, which is a huge spike as well, where I had on that day 928 views on that particular day, where things just kind of blew up. 928 views. But as you can see, most of the time my views are not anywhere near that. And I would get a lot more views if I posted more regularly, which I only post once a week. Or I have been only posting once a week, so that's probably why I haven't been getting nearly as many views as I could be. There's not much to see here. Average view duration, that kind of thing, isn't probably very interesting to you. And then we have audience. As you can see, overall, there are many more new viewers than returning viewers on videos. So a lot of these videos are getting views from people who aren't subscribed to the channel. And so it's just interesting. But that's kind of the audience trends, if you will. YouTube kind of gives you a breakdown. 3/4 of my audience or my viewership comes from the United States, a couple percent Japan, 1% from Canada, and then there's fractions of percent from other countries as well. But a vast majority, of course, from the US. And of course, a vast majority are male. If you're looking at the breakdown of gender, 96.8% male. And between the ages 55 and 64 is the majority at 42.6% of the viewers. All of that skews older, which again isn't very surprising because it tends to be a hobby that more older people tend to be watching. But as you can see, only 1/4 of my viewership is from subscribed viewers. 3/4 is from people that aren't subscribed. Now, a lot of that could be because they came to see the one video. For example, the Yankees lost the 2024 World Series. That's a bunch of Dodgers fans who probably happened upon that have no interest in tabletop baseball, but were interested about the topic that I was talking about. So, I don't know. Just thought I'd give you a little bit of a background on channel viewership and that kind of thing. By the way, if you're curious about how much money the channel makes, it doesn't make anything. Okay? It doesn't make anything. In order to be monetized on YouTube, you have to have a couple of things. One, you have to have 500 or more subscribers, which I do. I have 564. You have to have at least 3 video uploads in the last 90 days, which I do. I have more than that. But then you also need 3,000 watch hours in the last 365 days. And I usually hover around 2,400. Again, I could increase this number and probably hit 3,000 if I did more videos a week. If I was doing multiple videos a week, this would of course go up because there'd be more for people to watch. And I may do that, but currently I don't have enough watch hours in the last year to be monetized. So I'm not making any money on the channel, but that's how much you would need to have in order to start making any kind of money. And even if I were making money, it wouldn't be very much. I don't believe. It would probably be enough just to cover the costs that I have associated with the channel in itself. Um, anyway, if you're interested though about some of this behind the scenes stuff, I could do a more in depth video on that stuff. Let me know in the comments if that's something you have any interest in, and I'd be happy to do that and share the information with you about setting up a channel and what kind of equipment I use and that kind of thing. If you're curious about any of that. Now, one thing I don't do is, or I haven't done, and let's transition over to my plans for 2025, shall we? Let's talk about 2025. So 2025, the two projects I have going on right now are going to continue. So the Payoff Pitch League is going to still be going at the end of 2025. At my current rate, it's going to be maybe three-quarters of the way through my season two in 2025. So that's going to continue. In addition to season ticket baseball. So that league, the best of the 90s tournament, is going to take at least half of the year. We're going to probably get into, July, August before that wraps up. So, and then after that, I plan to do another season ticket baseball best of the decades to continue that series, if you will. I'm not sure which decade I'm going to pick next. I don't know if it's going to be an older decade. I kind of lean towards the 1980s because, again, that's another one that I'm more familiar with players when I was younger. But I may go something older, just kind of go back and forth and space things out too. And I haven't decided yet, but I'm sure that's going to be in the future as well. So those projects are definitely going to happen. What about other games and other projects? Well, I tend to not like to have very many projects going on at once. I'm not a channel that does one-off games here or there a lot. Um, like Kurt Berglund does many different games. He'll do, and he has different shorter term projects going on but he's doing a lot of different games that he's trying out. He's showing on his channel, that kind of thing. And that's not really my style, I don't think. I enjoy watching his, but it's not something that I would probably do on this channel. Um, Same with like Dave Gardner. Dave Gardner's doing he's doing a wide variety of different games, not just even baseball. He's doing like all different sports and that kind of thing as well. I do know that there are some channels like RJL that's really focused on one specific game. He'll do some one-offs here or there to try different things out, but for the most part, he's doing one specific game, and I'm leaning more towards that. So that's why I said in 2025, you're going to see the Payoff Pitch project, you're going to see the season ticket baseball project, and those two are going to pretty much fill my time for 2025. I do own some other games. I do own, I still own History Maker Baseball. Um, I'm not sure if I'll go back to that at any point. I own Out of the Park Baseball, which isn't tabletop, but it is a baseball game related, computer game. Digital Diamonds, stuff like that. I would use those as a companion probably, but not necessarily as something that I would probably use out of the park because I'm most familiar with that in terms of games that I would use, computer games that I would use for baseball, probably would be Out of the Park. And I've considered projects with Out of the Park that I might do in the future, but I'm not sure if that will happen in 2025 just because these two projects are going to take up most of my time, honestly. I do own like a couple seasons of Inside Pitch also, and have taken a look at Inside Pitch, um, but I'm not sure how that would fit in either. So I'm not sure if that would take place on the channel or not. Um, so that's kind of my 2025. Now, one thing I did consider that I haven't done is live streaming, and I haven't gotten into that at all. I've done some playthroughs of games, but they haven't been live. But that's something I might consider in 2025 if I figured it out because I do enjoy some of the baseball YouTube videos or YouTube channels, excuse me, that do live streaming um, and allow you to interact with them and that kind of thing. So I might do that if there was interest. If you have interest and think it'd be interesting to do that, leave that comment down below as well. I'm open to suggestions. And then I'll continue to do some of my non-tabletop baseball videos as well. I did a breakdown of like I went through play-by-play data and did a breakdown of like the distribution of outs and how frequently a guy scores from second base on a single. And you can find all of those videos on the channel. And I did that with the play-by-play data from just a few seasons ago. So you can find that on the channel. I did that huge project to kind of break that down. I might get more into that because I haven't done, after they've banned the shift, I haven't really completed that series of videos. I might do that. I'll continue to do like, I really want to do a Dick Allen video. He was inducted in the Hall of Fame uh, somewhat recently, and Kurt Berglund kind of gave his take on Dick Allen and his thoughts on whether or not he should be a Hall of Famer or not. And I think I'd give my take on that as well. I'll probably give my take on other Hall of Fame, like the other Hall of Fame voting that's going to take place in January and that kind of thing, because that actually impacts my tabletop baseball projects too, the Payoff Pitch one at least. And so I'll continue to do videos like that as they, if I think I can add anything to the discussion. We'll just say that. Other than that, that's kind of my plan for 2025. I don't think I'm going to really ramp up the frequency. I might ramp it up just to get to that 3,000 finally, and be able to offset some of my costs from the channel at least at that point. I might do that. But I'm always open to suggestions. If there's things that you want to see more of on the channel, things you want to see less of on the channel, do you like the recap style? Do you want to see more playthroughs of games? That kind of thing. Do you want to see the live streams, as I mentioned? Leave me those suggestions or comments down below. I would love to hear them. But that's where we'll leave things for now. I appreciate all of the support I've gotten over the last year in 2024. The channel's basically doubled in 2024 in terms of subscribers. I don't think it's ever going to be huge, just because, again, this is such a niche hobby that even the big players in the hobby aren't tens of thousands of subscribers. They're thousands, but they're not tens of thousands of subscribers. So I'm not expecting that. But anyway, I really appreciate all the support. I appreciate everybody who has a channel out there, or people who are just viewing and interacting and taking part in the hobby. Appreciate all of you. And with that, I want to wish you all a happy new year. And until next time, thank you for watching. Have a great evening.